Let's consider how an Ethernet switch works. Now, when I started in networking, we did not have Ethernet switches, we had Ethernet hubs, which were sometimes called bit splitters or repeaters because they would take in bits on one port and then replicate those bits and send copies of those bits out all other ports to make sure they got where they needed to go, but that was not terribly efficient. It caused collisions. It limits how large a network segment can scale. The good news is now we don't have to worry about hubs. We have Ethernet switches, and in this video I want to show you how an Ethernet switch makes its logical forwarding decision. The way it does it is based on the destination MAC address, MAC, that's Media Access Control Address. You see, inside of our PCs or any sort of network device that plugs into a network, we have some sort of NIC, a network interface card, and burned into this network interface card by the manufacturer is a 48-bit MAC address, typically written in hexadecimal notation. But this MAC address is going to be learned by the switch. Here's the way it works. Let's say that I connect my network interface card to port 4 of this switch. And assuming these were powered on, when a frame comes in from this network interface card from the first time, the switch enters that into its MAC address table. It says, hey, I just learned something. On port 4, we've got this MAC address. So then in the future, when a frame comes in destined for this MAC address, the switch says, I know where that lives. It lives off of port 4, and it will only send the frame out of port 4. So that eliminates all those issues we had with Ethernet hubs. Now let's talk about the structure of a MAC address for a moment. A MAC address is 48 bits, but it's broken into two parts. There is an OUI, that's the organizationally unique identifier or vendor code. This identifies who made this network interface card. And then the vendor assigns the last 24 bits themselves. That's the NIC specific portion of the address. As an example, here's one of my PCs. It has this vendor code. I think that's an Apple vendor code. And it's got this NIC specific 24 bits. And you can go online and you can say, what vendor created this vendor code? And it will tell you the manufacturer. But that's how an Ethernet switch makes its frame forwarding decisions. It's based on the destination layer 2 MAC address.